What's up, guys? This is the Osmo.com night shift, talking baseball for Friday, May 18th. We've got 15 games to get to, so I'm going to get to it pretty quickly here. Probably skip over a few games that don't have much to talk about, at least not at this point. We will obviously have the Osmo.com MLB strategy video and the live stream with Chris and Josh on Friday. So more info out throughout the day. Get to Osmo.com, check out all of our premium content. You get access to ownership projections, Osmo's rankings himself. He grades players A through E, I believe, or F. Anyways, you get the idea. And A play is the best, and B, and then so on. So let's get to this 15-game slate. Started off at the top for pitching, actually. So we're going to go Dodgers, Nationals, Max Scherzer, $14K on DraftKings. But I think he deserves that price, honestly. I'm seeing some pretty bad weather out in Washington, D.C. right now. So I'm just going to pretend like this game is going to play. But there's a good chance that it doesn't play. Anyways, I think Scherzer is worth the $14K if the weather isn't a factor, but that doesn't look like it's going to be the case. So love Scherzer here, not playing any Dodgers. If this one goes, I'm obviously not playing Stripling. I think it's a bad matchup for him, and he usually doesn't go very deep anyways. The Washington bats I do like. Bryce, Matt Adams, Anthony Rendon are three guys that I have a ton of interest in. But again, this one has some pretty severe weather concerns. Let's go San Diego and Pittsburgh. Tyson Ross against Ivan Nova, $9,500 Tyson Ross. He's been impressive, there's no doubt about it. I've changed my tune on him in that I don't really want to blindly stack against him. He is missing bats. He's getting ahead of guys, which is encouraging, but for $9,500, I don't think I can do it on this slate. Another game with weather concerns, so not on Ivan Nova either. I don't think he's got the K upside that you're going to want from this slate. And it is a good matchup for Nova, but if he's going to be anywhere near chalk for $6,400, I think he will get some ownership, then I am out on that. Tyson Ross is giving up some hard contact to lefties, so I do like Polanco and Dickerson, but not really crazy about anything in this game overall. Let's go to A's and Blue Jays. We've got Brett Anderson going up against Marco Estrada. This is a really bad matchup for Anderson. I don't think he's a very good pitcher. 5.4 run total for the Blue Jays. You can load up on the Blue Jays: Donaldson, Russell Martin, Justin Smoke, Teoscar Hernandez. Give me a bunch of these Blue Jays. I'm not going to talk about them too much. They're a pretty obvious stack here. And outside of Donaldson, well, Donaldson's only 4,500 on DK, but outside of him, everyone else is pretty much 4K and below. So good value once again here for the Blue Jays. Marco Estrada on the other side, he gives up a bunch of fly balls and hard contact to righties, and he's a right-handed pitcher. So I think the couple guys that I want to target him with are Chris Davis and Matt Chapman. Probably not stacking here, but I do understand if you want to go to a Matt Olson or a Jed Lowry. Let's go to Baltimore and Boston. Let me get to that game. All right, I'm out of order here. All right, Alex Cobb versus Drew Pomeranz, and a massive 5.8 total for Boston here. Alex Cobb, righty pitcher who just cannot miss any bats, and now he's in one of the worst matchups you could ask for. Boston, one of the best teams in the MLB against right-handed pitching, maybe the best, I believe, still by WRC+. There are just so many good bats up and down this lineup. I have almost no respect for Alex Cobb as a pitcher. I want to target against him. He comes up as one of the best pitchers to stack against in my rankings. So Boston's going to be heavily owned. They should be. So probably not going to talk about them too much. You know the guys. It's Betts. It's Benintendi, Hanley, JD, Bogarts. All these guys really 1 through 7 or 8. Pomeranz on the other side. I'm not going to him, although I do understand it for 7,000. He's just going to get too many righties for me. So I'm probably off of Pomeranz unless yeah, I'm probably off of Pomeranz. I think I can find a better option at his price. So Orioles bats that I like are Machado and Scope. I feel like I say them every single time, but those are the two good hitters that can hit lefties. So otherwise, the Orioles are kind of a disaster outside of those two guys. Cubs and Reds, Hendricks against Homer Bailey. We've got $8,300 Kyle Hendricks. I rarely play him on big slates, and I mean, unless he's priced way down, he's $8,300 here. It's a decent price. I don't think it's really the slate for him in terms of me playing him. I do really like Cubs bats here, and who doesn't? Homer Bailey has a near 50% hard hit rate and 5.32 xFIP to righties. You should like all these Cubs. They're going to be up there with the Blue Jays, with the who's a team I just talked about? Oh, the Red Sox. They're going to be up there as one of the highest owned stacks of the night. But I mean, it's a 15-game slate. No one's going to get over like 25-30%, I wouldn't think. So the Cubs bats very much in play. If I had to rank a couple that are my favorites, it would be the righties, Chris Bryant and Wilson Contreras, but I'm not leaving out Rizzo or Schwarber or Zobrist if I have to, or if I don't have to, I should say. So Cubs, one of the top stacks on the night. There's no doubt about it. In Great American against Homer Bailey. Couldn't really ask for a better matchup for them. Arizona and New York Mets. We've got Zach Godley versus Jacob deGrom. Another weather game here. So, I mean, honestly, there's not really much I like in this game in general. DeGrom's price is $9,800 on DK. He left after a 45-pitch inning. His velocity was down a little bit, so I'm scared of him on this slate, especially with the weather concerns. I don't even know if this game's going to play or any of these East Coast games. Looks like they got some nasty storms coming. So I'm just going to skip over this one for the most part because I'm not crazy about Godley's price, even though he is my boy. $8,100 with weather concerns is not the play, I don't think. Miami and Atlanta. Dan Straley versus Dan Straley against Sean Newcomb, I'm seeing. Newcomb is 11.5, and I mean, I think he is a good pitcher. I would maybe pay like $10K for him in the spot. I mean, that sounds kind of crazy too, but it is the Marlins. I'm not paying 11.5, I don't think, for Newcomb. He is one of the biggest favorites on the board. He's minus 225 as of this recording. But I don't think I can do it for 11.5. Straley for the Marlins, he's been really struggling, giving up a ton of hard contact, 50% hard contact in his first 3 starts. Just started against the Braves a week ago, and looking through the batted ball log, I am seeing a ton of lineouts, flyouts, ground out sharply. I'm seeing the word sharply a bunch, which makes me want to stack against the Braves outside of it already being a good matchup. They did square him up quite a bit in his last start, and looks like they got some unlucky outs. So maybe that turns around in this one. All these Freeman, Markakis, Acuna, I love. Inciarte, I love. It's a pretty good stolen base matchup here as well. Against Straley, I have him being about average at holding runners. So if they're going to be lower owned than the Cubs and the Red Sox, then I'll take the Braves at lower ownership. I've been loving this Braves squad lately, and that's no different on this Friday slate. Texas and Chicago White Sox, another game with weather concerns. So I didn't see this actually until right now, but I'm seeing the starting pitcher is Austin Bibbins-Dirks. This guy pitched a few times last year. I would have interest in Moncada and Yolmer Sanchez at the top. If it is Bibbins-Dirks, and then Fulmer on the other side, he's going to have a lot of trouble, I think, with these Texas lefties. They'll be chalky once again. Gallo's going to get ownership, so is Mazzara. I like both of them, but I don't want them at increased ownership. I mean, I don't think Carson Fulmer is really any good, unless I'm just missing something. I haven't seen anything from him that suggests that he's a good pitcher, so I'm probably going to pass there and play some Rangers bats instead. Milwaukee and Minnesota. we have got Brent Suter versus Kyle Gibson. Suter's not really a guy I stack against, but I do like Dozier and Escobar both as one-offs. They do hit lefties exceptionally well, especially Dozier for 4,200. I think that's going to be a popular play, but one I certainly have interest in. Gibson is a guy that I like a lot here. He's shown some really awesome swing and miss stuff that I'll talk about a little bit more tomorrow. He gets a matchup with the Brewers, who are without Ryan Braun, and there are a bunch of strikeouts in this Brewers order. I like Gibson a lot here, and I don't think he'll be very highly owned because he's in sort of an awkward price range, 8,800. People don't want to pay that for Kyle Gibson, but he looks a lot better than the Kyle Gibson of old. So definitely someone that I'm going to keep my eye on and someone that might end up in my lineup. Cleveland and Houston. Let me find this game. This one is another one that I don't really have much interest in the bats. Clevenger has been really good over his last few starts, but I don't really think it's the spot for him at this price against the Astros on the road. Morton on the other side is 12-2. He has elite stuff. He could certainly put on a show here against the Indians, but it's a pretty bad matchup in my opinion. I really don't like to target against either of these teams with pitching, even really good pitchers. I mean, if we were getting a discount on one of these two guys, then I would be a lot more interested. But as of now, I kind of just have this game as a write-off for the most part. So let's move on to Yankees and the Kansas City Royals. These last few games, there's just not much I like. So Sabathia against the Kansas City bats, I don't really like either side of that. I mean, Soler makes some sense because he mashes lefties, and he's 3,800. But outside of that, not really looking at Royals. Junis versus the Yankees. I'm interested to see the Yankees ownership here because Junis, I don't think Junis is that bad, and the Yankees are showing a 5.5 run total right now. It's really good hitting weather in Kansas City. I certainly don't want to play Junis. And you can take a stab at some of these Yankees, but right now I'm pretty lukewarm on the Yankees. I prefer those other those other stacks, the Braves, the Cubs, the Red Sox over the Yankees right now. I do definitely have some respect for Junis, so maybe I'm just way off there, but that's what I'm seeing right now. Phillies, Cardinals. We've got Arrieta going up against Michael Wacha. Arrieta's just not missing enough bats for me. He had a nice start last outing, but still 5% swinging strike rate in that start is really concerning for me. 7,700, not a price I'm really willing to pay for Arrieta. And then same thing for Wacha on the other side. Not really interested in him despite the Phillies' low total. I think he could be chalky here because he's priced at 7,200. He's going against the Phillies, and Wacha is a player people like to play for whatever reason. I think he's just an okay pitcher, but nothing special. I do like Rhys Hoskins on the other side against Wacha. Wacha's giving up 46% hard contact to righties this year, and I think that a $4,500 Rhys Hoskins in a spot where he'll probably be low owned is something that I'll certainly be looking at when I start making lineups. Tampa Bay and the Angels. We've got Blake Snell against Nick Tropiano. Snell is a really awesome pitcher from what I'm seeing. I just don't want to target this matchup. I feel like I'm saying that on like every team, but he's 7,900. I think you have to at least consider him in a bad matchup. Probably going to get 9 righties, which is concerning. I mean, I'm not stacking against Snell. Maybe go with Trout or Trout or Andrelton Simmons has been a guy I've been playing a bunch, but I'm not really crazy about really anything in this game. Tropiano on the other side, I think he might get some ownership because he is a favorite. He's 6,800. He's had some decent games with a handful of strikeouts here and there, but 45% hard contact on the year, and the Rays aren't even striking out as much as the old Rays where you just blindly play a pitcher against them if they were reasonably priced. This is not the same Braves team. They do have a little bit of power against righties, and I wish there were more Braves that I wanted to play, or Braves. I wish there were more Rays that I wanted to play, because I would certainly target against Tropiano if he was going to be chalky at all. Detroit and Seattle. The one thing that is interesting to me in this game is Michael Fulmer for 6,100. Now, I don't like targeting against the Mariners, but at this point I'm sort of just running out of pitchers, and he's 6,100. I do like that he has not been giving up hard contact this year. No Cano in the lineup for the Mariners, obviously, with that suspension. And then Nelson Cruz may not be in the lineup here again, which would be an even bigger boost for Fulmer. Just another good bat out of the lineup for the Mariners. Man, I think I do like Fulmer a little bit here, and he might grow on me as the day goes on. So he's someone to keep your eye out for. Maybe ends up in the spotlight pitchers. Felix Hernandez on the other side. He's okay, but man, I can't see myself actually playing Felix Hernandez. And then the bats in this game are not very interesting all around. So let's go to the next game, and this one will be very, very short. Colorado and San Francisco, another awful game for DFS. I really don't like much at all. It is Derek Holland against Kyle Freeland, but I mean Arenado and Trevor Story, but it is in AT&T. So those two guys against a lefty make some sense, but man, it seems like there's not very many options on this slate, unless I'm just missing on stuff. A lot of very good pitchers, but in pretty bad spots, I think is the theme for this slate. So I hope you enjoyed listening to this. Hope you got your research started for Friday. I hope you made some money on Thursday night, and tune into the MLB strategy video. Check out the premium content on awesemo.com. Check out the live stream with Josh and Chris, and good luck, guys.